Hey everybody, it's Thursday.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Night Bite.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily. And I was laughing because I was going to make some joke about how it's been the longest week ever, and I feel like it's been a long time since we've been here talking with everybody. So
Yeah, but it's been only a week. It's been a long week because the majority of us had Tuesday off. So for those of you that didn't, I feel sorry for you. Emily and I got out in the boat. We had some awesome fishing. Lakes around us have finally hit that summer plane, so we're super happy about that. Fish are very predictable. Our weather's been helping out with that. You know,
fish are very predictable. That's a bold
it hasn't.
statement.
It hasn't. The weather hasn't changed very much in our area. You know, we've been pretty dry. There's been some storms and stuff that rolled through, but it's been very minor. So, lots of weed edges and lots of fish.
And it's funny that you say that because when I think weed edges, sometimes I think that summer, the green, the sloppy, I want to call it sticky. It's actually not sticky. It's slimy. It's disgusting. Some of those weed edges get really nasty this time of the year. They are grown up and they are green.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about that, this lake that we spent our time at this past Tuesday, at least on our holiday, we did not have very many of those very nasty weed beds and the chunks and the floaty stuff. You know, sometimes when you think of the lakes in summer and that's what you think of. So in those cases, look for what you do have. So the lake that we were on, there was a lot of water shield and there was a lot of lily pads and all of that kind of stuff. And there was some really stark drop-offs right next to that. So I don't actually mean depth drop-offs, but as far as the weeds go, stark edges. So I guess that still was what we're looking for. A typical summer pattern. That's why I kind of laughed when Josh was saying that they're very, what did you say?
Very predictable.
Yeah. Well, because in the summer, we always talk about how we troll for panfish, and we found that did work in the morning. But we found because those fish were relating to those weed edges, we had a little bit more success on that day with bobbers. I wouldn't say that they like the presentation that much slower because, a tail with a lot of action, we use plastics, and they did really want that bait moving. But that little hover that bobber can provide that other bait presentations don't, that was typically when you would get that strike.
Yeah, and it was mostly an effect of where we were fishing. It was a lot of water shield and a lot of lily pads, and trolling through that is not conducive, right? You're just going to get hooked up and you're just chopping them all up. And so using the floats in there, being able to hit pockets, you all know all about this. This is pretty standard, but what we do a little bit differently than some is we move pretty fast. You know, it's kind of like casting bass baits. We're just trolling along the edges. We're pitching if we, and what Emily fishes the front of the boat, so she hits as much as she can, and then I try and pay attention where she's casting so I can cast the spots that she isn't able to in the time frame. That way we cover all of it. And I don't think it has anything to do with the catching more fish. I think for us, we just like to tour the lake. So the venue's changing, everything's always changing, and it keeps things moving. Even if the fish are slow, at least you're looking at something different. So.
And I guess with that, I am looking forward to getting back out this weekend because I guess that is where I agree that fish are a little bit predictable in the fact that I know I'm going to go and do those same or similar techniques this coming weekend, and that's going to be great. And fishing is hopefully going to be great as well. And if it is, and if it isn't, we will be here to share that with you guys anyways next week. So for those of you that are tuning in on Facebook, I think that's pretty common for people. Thank you. But you can also join us on YouTube and even LinkedIn.
Yep.
The case?
Yep. LinkedIn too.
It is also a podcast, so look for us or listen to us wherever you find your favorite podcast. And don't forget to like and share because this is going to be a great episode. So with that, let's bring in our guests. Welcome to the show, Bonnie and Darren.
Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Darren.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
I feel like I always put people on the spot because you guys are like, they call it backstage, and I feel like you guys are always talking back there, and then we're like, oh wait, come back, join us. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're really happy, and we hope we can contribute to the show.
Well, you guys always are great guests, but I think we've been trying to get Bonnie on for a while. Is this your first time on the show?
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Lucky.
yeah.
Those of you
I'm
that
a behind the scenes person.
she's an instant superstar.
don't know, Bonnie and Darren, we've been friends with them for a while now. They're at almost every expo you can think of during the ice fishing season. And I'm sure you guys spend a lot of time at the lake during the summertime, but Bonnie is the actual brains. If you talk to everybody at the expo, Darren's sitting there helping people with the app stuff, and
Yeah.
Bonnie is selling it.
I'm just it just hurts my feelings. Yeah.
I love you, Josh.
No, but seriously, you guys are great, and this is a great time of year to have you on, because on the top of everybody's minds in the summertime is tournaments.
Wait.
You know, we
We
have
didn't even ask our first question. Is the super generic big get us going? Tell us about yourself, because we know you guys and we are excited to jump in.
I'm just
but
so excited.
I was gonna say, people at home, there might be people that are joining us that don't know you guys. So I guess before we get too far, can you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what do you want to know, like, about? I mean, I can tell you.
Where were you born? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was born in northern Minnesota. I grew up between Cook and Orr. I don't know if you know where that is. It's close to between Lake Vermilion and Pelican Lake, which is where I started loving fishing, I guess. My mom taught me how to fish. My dad took me fishing. I'm an electrical engineer. I have an MBA from MIT Sloan. I created the app, and I married the brilliant lady Bonnie. And yeah, that's me.
Well, and actually, I love that because, one of the things that I guess, like to talk about is so often people want to work in fishing or something, whatever that means. I think for everybody that's a little bit different to begin with. But I love what you guys are doing, because you are fully immersed in the fishing world, and to at least what your social media seems to say to me, it seems like you get to go fishing a good deal. But you guys also have real professional jobs that don't necessarily depend on being an angler, so to speak. So I think it's really cool that you do have a job that's so related to the fishing world, but maybe not traditionally what people think of getting into when they think of, I don't know, jobs in fishing and their goals.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people in the fishing industry who are very inventive and clever, and they all come up with these ideas. There's so many ideas, and they're great ideas, but a lot of them aren't companies. There's so many people who want to do that. I think it's really competitive though, and it takes a lot of work. I mean, it takes a ton of work. We're pretty just lucky that we're working on what we're working on.
Yeah, and we are immersed in fishing related things every single day, to the point where I need to step outside, literally walk away from my computer and step outside and go do something in the yard for 10 or 20 minutes.
She's my gardener
to get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In addition to being the chief, she's my gardener. I do mow the lawn.
So in case there's anybody at home who doesn't know, Fish Donkey is your app, and it is that tournament fishing, but in your phone. I guess I'm trying to explain it. I'm doing a terrible job. Can you explain what it is?
Wait, don't we need to introduce Bonnie or let her talk about it?
Yeah, actually.
Maybe she doesn't want to.
I didn't.
Oh,
No.
She thought she escaped.
I
that.
did. I thought I escaped. Yeah. I am co-founder of Fish Donkey, and I do a lot of sales, marketing, and tons of customer service and tech support. So I have been called a concierge of sorts. If a new tournament director comes on board and they want to run their tournament through our Catch Photo Release platform, I get them up to speed on what they need to do so that they're not nervous about the event, and to make sure that they understand how the app works before they're asking all of their anglers to do it. So I think part of our goal is we want everybody to have a good experience from the tournament director. If your tournament director doesn't know what they're doing, then your anglers aren't going to be happy with your event. So that's a big deal to me. It's super important that they understand the app and the technology that the app was built on.
Yeah, but who
So-
are you?
So I am Bonnie. Buckthorn.
Bonnie from Rice.
Buckthorn Vigilantes is another one of my titles.
Oh, I know a title. I have titles.
Yeah, when I'm
For
not
you.
working,
I have titles for you.
stop. No. When I'm not working on Fish Donkey, I am trying to eradicate buckthorn from
You
my
are.
inherited yard.
Yeah, you
So-
are a Buckthorn vigilante.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that replaces 3 Beer Bonnie.
Stop. Oh my god.
You can visit my house when you're done because I have some here too.
You have Buckthorn?
We only have a little bit of it. Our big nemesis is snow in the mountains, so that's what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, I love snow on the mountain. Are you crazy?
Really? Why? What is snow on the mountain?
It's that pretty stuff I've been transplanting into the backyard to replace the buckthorn.
Just look at her laugh. We shouldn't have that. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You shouldn't. You maybe shouldn't say that. It's a noxious, invasive.
Oh
Is
my
it
gosh.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to do more studying on that.
She's planning it.
It's
Well, I
also
will say
called.
this, our keeping
Fun fact:
Charlie-
it's also called goutweed. If you want to look it up.
Oh
Gouch?
wow.
No.
Yep.
No.
Wow.
How
See,
about-
look at the stuff we learned from
I
Crappie
know.
Junction.
How about burdock?
This is why we do this.
Burdock is really bad. Taproot is like this.
I will say this. Our yard has some of the strongest, best, healthiest creeping Charlie you will ever
Ever.
see.
Hey,
Ever.
that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
naturalized.
a blanket. Beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's- It's in the mint family.
It has flowers. I found.
Okay, I do have to say though, as far as a fishing connection, this past Tuesday we were in the boat and we were counting the number of butterflies that we saw. And I'm not
Mhm.
just saying like 1 and 2 but like the number of different species and patterns. And I don't know, maybe it's because I've never lived this far north before, but I have never seen that many different kinds of butterflies in one day.
Yeah, I bet we saw like a dozen different
was cool.
kinds. Yeah.
That
Does
is
it
cool.
make you feel like you want to cry?
No, but I felt like really like fishing blessed or something because we also caught the most beautiful bluegills I've ever seen. I swear to you.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought you used a filter on your phone.
No.
Okay, the one release video, there was a filter on it, but I swear to you, it only picked up the colors that were already there. So I will post a few more pictures tomorrow. I like one of them. I took, I swear to you, 100 pictures of and a video.
It was such an unusual pattern for a bluegill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, they're
It really
they're
was.
they're the,
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful fish.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So how come it's not called the? Well, I was gonna say the bluegill donkey app or something. Like,
That's yeah.
how did you come up with fish donkey?
We could have a different version for every species. Um,
Just run 100 different apps. That's easy.
How did Fish Donkey get its name?
uh,
The short version, Jen.
the short version is I fished on the Texas coast for a long time, years. We also lived in Texas and fished for trout and redfish, and I caught this giant redfish. Sometimes when you catch a fish that's like obscenely big, it like doesn't look like the same species. Like it just needs a different name, right? And so my friend, I caught this giant redfish while we were wade fishing. And my friend said, "Oh, dude, that's a donkey," and I was like, "Oh no, it's a redfish." And he's like, "No, it's a donkey," and I'm like, "It's a redfish, right?" And so then, he had to explain to me what a donkey is. And then after that, I started hearing it, and we were trying to come up with the name of the company, and we wanted something that you could say to someone and they wouldn't like easily forget it. Or like if you said like, Great Fishing Adventures, there's probably like 3 different like versions of that, or maybe 100 different versions of that out there. So it was like an easy URL. The URL was available. I had previous companies where it was like difficult to like spell the company or something like that. Just wanted to be easy. Fish donkey, one word, boom, done. That's it.
And then this is an app that anybody can just go and download, or
Yes. Yep.
Anybody can create their own tournament on the Fish Donkey app right on your phone. Create and run a tournament right on your phone. I think
Well,
we're the only ones that do that.
Well,
Yeah.
One of the other cool things about the Fish Donkey app too, well, there's two of my favorite things. One is that there's always some kind of open tournament, whether it's a paid or a free tournament running that can be open to, might just be the state of Wisconsin, or it might be a national tournament or something that's running that you can enter and you can fish against other anglers that you don't even know, just for fun. Or if you want to put some money in it, you might be able to win one of those tournaments. There's always something available. My other favorite thing is that if you have the sound notification on, it makes a donkey noise at you when those leader changes are happening, and that is awesome. I feel like I love it.
Yes. We have a lot of people who love that. We have a lot of people who hate it, and we have a lot of people who love it.
We
So,
used to have a dog that hated it. I mean, the dog went nuts.
yeah. When we were first testing it, Darren would have to post fake fish all the time to test the leaderboards and how it worked. And
Make
so
the
the
donkey
donkey was
sing.
always going off, but he insisted that the donkey brayed for 6 seconds. And 6 seconds is a really long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
liked
really is a long time. And then the dog was just utterly disgusted. And I kept saying, you can't do that. Oh, no, I want to do that. You can't do that. The other people testing it were like so sick of it too. They're like, you can't do that. And I think it took about 6 months of it to break him from it. Yeah.
My dog liked it at
Yeah.
first, but after
Yeah. And then we get
It took
some
a
people
while,
who
but-
turn their notifications off because you can turn it off in the settings in your app. And then we have some people who turn it off and then they join another tournament and they come back later and then they complain that the donkey's not going off and your app is broken. The donkey's not going off. You know, check your notifications in your settings. So
Yeah.
it's a love-hate thing for a lot of
And we had one lady. She was an older lady. I think she was a WAMI.
Yeah.
WAM, Women Anglers of Minnesota, has ran a great organization for women, and they have ran a lot of tournaments on fish donkey. And I think she was a WAMI, older lady, and she said she woke up in the morning and she heard this noise, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And she heard it. She actually thought she was hearing things. She started hearing it again. She's like, "What's going on?" It was her app going off with the donkey.
I think it can frighten some people the first time.
Yeah.
Because like if you join a tournament that lasts for a long time, like WAM will often host tournaments just for their members, and it might be all summer long. And so if you join it and you've never joined before and you don't go out fishing the first day, the donkey starts going off all the time. Because if they have like 6 different species, someone might top the leaderboard on 6 different leaderboards. So it might go off 6 times that first day. And so I think it scares the bejesus out of some people when they're driving, or when he was driving, it went up.
But one time, so it is kind of cool too. Like one time I was, are you in NPAA, Emily or Josh?
Oh, we were members. I don't know if I'm up on my payments.
So I was at one of the meetings, and there were like 200 people in the conference room, and one of the guys, I think it was Jesse Simpkins from St. Croix Rods, was up speaking, and the donkey noise started going off, and there were like 3 different places in the room where the donkey started. I was like, wow, these people are on fish donkey.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess so like I've taken part in these tournaments, and I think it's like pretty cool because you do catch a fish, and then depending on how the tournament rules are set, because my understanding is that if the tournament director decides to do things a little bit different, maybe they can. But what you need is ultimately a picture of a fish on the bump board, usually a selfie like with you and the fish, and then usually a release video. So I guess I have a whole bunch of questions about this, but my first one is, how do we keep it fair that like through photos, videos, all of this, that we know the fish is what it is?
You're up.
Okay. So you can only enter a fish if you've legitimately joined that tournament. So you can't get into that tournament unless you've paid and joined it. So nobody else has access to it. You have to read the rules and watch the training video built into the rules. And then
I don't know what happens if you don't do that, but it's
And every fish you enter, you have to enter it through the app. So you cannot open your camera on your phone and take a photo and slip it into the app. That's just, the app was built to prevent that from happening. So no old or altered photos can be put in there. So if you caught a big hog or a big donkey last year, there's just no way for you to get it into the app. So everything's controlled through the app. It's date and time stamped. So you can't enter a fish ahead of hours and you can't enter a fish after hours. If you see a fish swim away in a release video, then you know that it's a healthy fish. It swam away. It didn't die during the tournament. You didn't catch it yesterday and pull it out of a bucket.
Yeah,
It
wasn't
looks healthy.
frozen and unthawed during ice season.
Yeah. If it swims away, they didn't put it in a live well and take it out and record it at Big Fish again later for the tournament. Like if it's a bag of fish, we call that a stringer. It's like a stringer of 5. It would be suspicious if someone had 2 24-inch largemouth bass in their stringer. But if you require the release video, which we highly encourage, then you know that there's no possible way, if you've seen that fish swim away, it wasn't handed off to another team and it can't be recorded a second time.
So
I am the kind of person, and I like to have my fish photos and post them other places. Because I'm taking the photos through the app, do I lose those photos?
No, the app will put a copy into your camera deck. So you get an original in your camera deck on your phone. And then you also have the one that's in Fish Donkey. But if you, let's say you catch a great big, that pretty bluegill you caught, if you had entered that into a Fish Donkey tournament and your photo had not completed uploading to the leaderboard yet, and you went on Instagram and you changed the filter and stuff in the original in your camera deck, our software is so sensitive, it would recognize that. And it would alert the tournament director that you have attempted to alter that photo.
Just yesterday, I had a guy who rotated his photo. And like all he did was rotate it, but he rotated it before he sent it to Fish Donkey. So basically he was in a no internet area. He caught a fish, he submitted it, and then he was like, oh, I should have had the photo the other way. And so he rotated it, and then it went through, and so it came through as rejected because he rotated the photo. But really, as a tournament directors are in charge of all of the tournaments, and it's their decision. Like they can look at it and they say, well, the measurement was legit, the release video was legit, it was a live fish, it swam away, and the trophy shot for some reason was rejected. Well, it's because he rotated it. So it's up to the tournament director at that point if they want to deny the entry or accept it. Most of them would accept that.
Yeah.
And then like the nice thing about having nice people run a nice app is that like if people are having any troubles, like you guys tend to help them, or so I hear. So is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. We have tech support numbers built into the profile icon in the top right corner of the app, so they can always just get a hold of us right away. We've got a couple phone numbers in there and an email address, and we're working on improving it and adding tutorials in, so that if you get into an area with poor internet and you don't know how to use your digital live well yet, there'll be some help tutorials in there to help you. We're discovering,
we're making it easier for people that don't follow directions to follow directions. I mean, it's like, because most people don't, they just want to go fishing and they don't want to like read something. And so this is making it easier for them to like follow the directions.
Yeah. But also there are some people who will not pick up the phone and call for help. And so those people either think the app doesn't work or they're just not going to make the effort. And we don't want that to happen. They took the time to go fishing and they joined a tournament and have a positive experience. So we're working on making that even better experience for people.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of really young people now, they don't want to talk on the phone. It's like scary for them or something. I don't know what the deal is. But like my friend, his son wouldn't like call the pizza place and order a pizza. He wanted to do it online. He's like, no, I'll do it online. So it's like, that's how we need to be, at Fish Donkey. You need to be able to just get it from the app and get your information online, and so you don't have to call us. Yeah. Our photographer is here. She left.
I will another thing, because I'm sure you have some people watching who have never participated in a virtual tournament. And we don't really like the word virtual, but we can't find a better word for it because it's real fishing.
It transcends time and place.
It does.
What kind of
You
fishing
can
are you
fish
doing?
anywhere at any time. Transcends.
But
Right.
the virtual tournament, so the app was built to really imitate or mock a real tournament. So in a real tournament, you're out in your boat all day and you're catching fish, and you put your biggest fish in a live well, and you bring them into a weigh-in. So at the end of the day, when you get to the boat ramp, you have to open up your live well and let your fish out. So Fish Donkey works the same way. You're out in your boat all day and you're entering fish, through the app, but you can let them go right away instead of putting them in live well. But the app has a built-in live well. It's called a digital live well, and it's a log of all of your fish that you've entered during the entire tournament. And so at the end of the day, when you bring your boat in, you have to tap on your live well and open it when you have good reception and make sure that all of those fish have swum upstream through the internet, now that you're at a good connection, to make sure that all the photos are showing on the leaderboard to prove your measurement, whether that's a length tournament or a weight tournament. Because you can run weight tournaments on Fish Donkey just by using weight scales on a boat. That's perfectly legitimate as well. So
And I was just thinking about that too, because that's one of the things that we hear from some of our southern friends, the diehard bass five bass limit anglers down south, is that it takes all the fun out of it because you have to make those choices, and you don't know if you're keeping track of all of your fish. So in those weight tournaments, do your previous fish disappear out of your? Does the app like dump one of the fish? Can you select one and dump it for those weight tournaments, just like you'd have to choose in real life?
Well, you don't have to choose.
It auto
You don't have to choose, and like in real life, you have to choose. But in the Fish Donkey tournament, it'll call automatically, so you don't have to pay as much attention to it. You just enter the weight, and the lower weight will drop out. It'll still be entered in Fish Donkey in case your original one got denied. Actually, the second that lower fish would pop back up. The likelihood of being denied if you follow rules is really low. But otherwise, the weighing works perfectly. It's a unitless entry. If you want to go in kilograms, and we have people that do centimeters or millimeters. We had millimeters. Yeah. I don't know why did they do millimeters? I can't
that was
remember.
that one in Norway.
Anyway, they did meters. And we actually I don't. Yeah, it seems like hard to measure a fish in them.
It's not that hard. I do it at work.
Yeah, they're very precise in Norway.
You gotta make sure you get that nose right on the bump board, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the app auto culls, and so all you have to do is enter all your fish, and once you hit submit after each fish, the app does all the work for you.
However, I will say this: I don't like weigh tournaments. I think it opens the door to a little bit more cheating. I mean, you can do the whole weights in fish. You can flip an extra. You can make the fish weigh more, basically, of any way they can think of. But with length, it's not getting any longer and still be a live fish that swims away, right? So that whole weights in fish thing that goes away.
If you go by length.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in because actually that's a really interesting point that maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like for so long, tournaments did weights because it was more official or something. But I think especially in the last few years, the controversies and this and that. And I mean, I think a lot of people are opening up to the fact that maybe weight isn't the most official or something, or maybe it can be tampered with. And when you think about that, I mean, it's harder. I mean, I hope this isn't being done out there. I was going to say it's harder to stretch fish. Hopefully it's impossible. Hopefully nobody tries it, but as far as a virtual tournament goes, I guess that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We want them to come around sooner than later.
The reason, now it makes sense that, so everybody does weigh because that's what they're used to. And everybody likes to do what they're familiar with. They don't trust something new. And so it's like we're pioneering this along with AIM and many others who actually started that by length, but we're pioneering the app way of doing it. And if you I don't know where I was going with this.
It's okay. It happens to me
Yeah,
all the
it's
time.
all the time. I mean, I think this is a really cool thing
Well,
because as far as like the world of fishing, this is almost like a mini culture shift because there are so many people like if weight for so many years, it was all about the fattest fish
Yeah.
or whatever. And like on one hand, it kind of stinks like length doesn't always take into account girth. So when you catch just like a monster of a fat fish or like early spring or whoever, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, to some extent, maybe that's not counted in, but I mean, a lot of times when that fish is so fat like that, I mean, it's grown and it has that length too.
So we looked at weight versus length. Pretty much if you're in the same lake at the same time of year, fat fish, they're all fat at the same time, right? And that length versus weight, all the tournaments we ran with our conversion. So we have also a conversion to weight from length. As long as you fill out your stringer and there's not some weird thing where you have to keep like 4 16-inch fish under and 1 over, as long as it's just like, as many fish as any size fish you want, that weight versus length thing comes out to be
The same.
the same. It doesn't change any of the places. But if you don't, like, say you do catch like a 30-inch walleye and someone else catches a 15 and a 16-inch, obviously that 30-inch walleye weighs more in a weight tournament. But if they only caught the one walleye, but if you go like a whole stringer, a stringer of 5 or 6, it works out like
So it's
every
basically the
time.
same results unless you don't fill out your stringer. Then it
Yeah.
might not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing with weight is, we used to, and it's what I was going to say before, I don't know what I'm talking about now, but the weight for so long, everybody did it, right? And the reason we did it is there was no other way to have a fair reckoning at the end of the day who won. Like, the easiest way to do it at the end of the day is to just weigh them. You can bring them in and measure them. But there's no reason we can't just measure them and then immediately release them right back to where they came from. And if we're talking like smallmouth bass or something like that, they're sitting on a bed protecting it. You want to bring them all the way back to the weigh-in station, and then they got to try to make it back to protect their bed. It's detrimental. It's hugely detrimental to the fish to have to try to make it back to where they are normally living. So it's just so much better to release them immediately. We can do it fair, and it's conservation minded. I just think it's the future. I really believe it's the future of tournament fishing.
I mean, I guess I think it was you guys actually one of the first expos that you were at or that I met you at. And then you were talking about that. And we were, really talking about that moment when in a tournament when they release those fish. And so, they do the weigh-in and everything. And then how many of those fish don't make it so far beyond that boat launch? And I guess I had thought a lot about that because a lot of times even these bigger fish are territorial. And so, you have the best of intention for that fish. You want it to live. You are going to release it. But I think so often you have to think about like, yeah, the fish made it to the water, but you almost have to set that fish up for enough success to live after that. Because if you are just dumping a bunch of trophy fish off of a boat launch and they are not scattering that far, there is going to be territory disputes. They are going to pick at each other. And so, I mean, if the whole point is releasing that fish to be in good condition, I mean,
yeah. Fishermen are the best conservationists, really. I mean, they understand that if you keep a fish in a live well all day, a 30-inch walleye in the summer, and that thing's not doing well, it might be alive at the weigh-in, but it's probably going to die later.
And I think participants are getting better about giving feedback, and public feedback. About
and I don't understand like why more
companies.
companies. I guess it's our job to explain our app better, but I can't believe more companies aren't interested in being associated with Fish Donkey. I mean, right now we have advertising in our app and we're getting 1 million page views a month. And right now I just want like companies that I like to come in and say, or that we like, I'm sorry. I have to get approval, but if we like the company and, if Rapala said, hey, we want to do some of our, Slamwich ads for Rapala, like, we like Rapala. So we would put them in our app for free, right?
Yeah.
Like, eventually we're going to make money from advertising, but we don't like the Google ads where they're like,
random
selling plastic flashlights from China or something. It's like
I'll get you a
putting
crappie
a
junction ad
relevant-
right after this, so don't you worry.
Wait, what now? I missed that.
Oh, I said I'll get you a crappie junction ad right after this.
Yeah, we like Crappie Junction.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good idea. We can link
That's
to,
funny.
we can link to whatever. It will give you like a certain percentage of traffic.
I just want a high five at the next expo that we see each other at.
Virtual high five.
Oh, awesome. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, I guess we've talked about quite a few of these different key topics that people are worried about or think about when it comes to tournaments, but there is one more big one. So, let's say that somebody has a hotspot on a lake, and if you were in an in-person tournament, is that you we're about to talk about the same thing? This is perfect.
She just pointed at it.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
So in a real life tournament, obviously, if you're parking on that spot or driving over the spot or like whatever, people are seeing that. In a virtual tournament, you are able to hide on your home lakes, at least to some degree, right? Whoever knows who launches on that same lake, but that's different. So as far as that virtual tournament, does your location, does that information come with the pictures? Are people giving out their spots?
So we do collect GPS data, but we strip it out of the data. So, nobody can get into your photo. Your photos are public on the leaderboard. Nobody can get into it and uncover your location. Spectators, other people in the tournament. And we also do not reveal location even to the tournament director. So they do not get a map with dots on it. They can say, Fish Donkey, I need to know if everybody was on Cedar Lake that day during the event, not anywhere outside of the boundary stated in the tournament. And at that point, we will decrypt all of the locations only at Fish Donkey. And when we see if there were any offenders outside of the boundary, and if there were, we will contact the tournament director and let them take it from there. But we will not even tell them where they were located, even in the out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a secret. Your secret spot's a secret.
Yep.
Forever.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing about this. So people are under the impression, a lot of people, that Fish Donkey runs the tournaments, but we don't. We have an app that it's basically just software. Other people run tournaments on our app. And so it's like anybody can run the tournament. And we're really not involved. We're not verifying the fish or anything. Our app is providing anti-cheating software to make sure it's legit. And as long as everyone, follows the rules and the director understands how it works, it's a legit tournament ran by someone else. We're providing the platform. We're like Intel inside. With a donkey noise.
With a donkey.
Yeah.
Donkey?
So sometimes when we do these episodes and we talk about things, and then I have to admit my brain gets stuck a few minutes back in the conversation because I'm still stuck back at all the points on the map. Like does Darren have access to that? Can we be best friends?
I do.
Won't.
So yeah, but I do have access to
No.
it. I do. But it's not easy though.
Yeah,
It's
but you don't share it with your friends.
No.
No, he just looks at it before he goes to bed every night.
Yeah, there's me, and then there's a guy who does not fish from Poland, who's my database guy, and he would have access, but nobody else does, and it's encrypted. And the chances of me going to your lake are really low because I only fish here, and I already know where I want to fish here. I don't know how. Even if I knew there were 20 hotspots, I know for sure that the fish move around so much they're not on that hotspot next week. They're just not.
They're just not.
Yeah.
So we had a question come in, and this is a fabulous question. And it says, so these fishing tournaments can be from out of state as well. And I guess the thing about this is that there almost are no boundaries. But can you describe that better than I can?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So So in a weigh-in tournament, you have to be close to a weigh-in station. So you have to be on a local lake where you can make it back at the end of the day to have a reckoning and have a fair accounting of who won. But with our tournaments, because our software is keeping track of who won and we're preventing cheating, now all of a sudden the geography is open. And depending on who the tournament director is, they might say it's only for the state of Wisconsin, the state of Florida, the state of Texas, or maybe it's for the southern half of the U.S., or maybe it's for the United States and Canada, or the whole world. So yes, you can have a tournament without boundaries, basically.
We should do a U.S. versus Canada tournament someday.
So okay, here's something
Yeah.
that we're looking for.
The clam one is not
clam-
you. It's not U.S. versus Canada, but they are very generous. The clam trap
Clam
attack.
tournament's great.
That's an awesome ice fishing tournament, and they include Canada.
So they're
And
a
there are
company
a
that
ton
gets
of
it.
Canadians that are itching for someone to set up some Canadian tournaments. Nobody up there is willing to take the bull by the horns. So
But, like,
hey,
we have,
if
like,
you're out there,
Cabela's.
we're looking for some Canadian
We have
tournaments
Cabela's and like Shields and stuff, and they're running tournaments for their own
for
employees.
employees.
For their own
Oh,
employees. Yeah, but they
we
don't.
need something big.
Yeah, we want something
Bigger.
big.
Yeah.
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 And also we have a need right now for someone from the US who wants to run a really big pike tournament, because we have someone from the UK who runs maybe the biggest pike tournaments in the world, from the United Kingdom. And we have someone from Canada it's actually called why is it called Muskies Inc?
It's run by
Mantra.
Muskies Inc.
Oh, but it's a pike tournament. And it's
The
huge.
biggest- our
I think it
biggest-
might be our biggest
Our
tournament.
biggest Canadian
Our
tournament
biggest
ever.
Canadian tournament.
Yeah,
But-
bigger than Aaron Weeps.
He beat him, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we need someone from the U.S. and we want to like compete, because I think the U.S. can compete in big pike
Yes.
with the UK. I don't know about Canada. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we have Lake of the Woods and Rainy River, just like they have
Oh,
Lake of the Woods. So
True. And we have South Dakota.
Cody Walt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
yeah,
That guy
Dakotas.
puts up numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I? You know what? I got to get back to a simpler answer to the person who sent in the question. Hey, can anybody set up a tournament and set up the boundaries? Yeah. So anybody can download the app. The app Fish Donkey is free download. And once you download it, it's super simple. There's only 2 buttons on the home screen. Set up a tournament if you want to create your own tournament, and then join a tournament. So just tap the button, set up a tournament, and just follow the prompts. What's the title? What's the date? What's the start time for lines in? What is lines out? What are your species? So just follow the prompts. It's very easy. Yeah.
Well, and I definitely recommend anybody that's watching to download the app. Just even if you're just interested in tournament fishing, or maybe you're just interested in spectating, because there's a lot of people out in social media land that do a bunch of tournaments, and you might follow them. This way you can actually follow their progress in their tournaments, and you can maybe dabble in some yourself. Like I said earlier, when I got a little bit ahead of myself, like one of the best things about this is that there's always something available. Either, there might be a small fee tournament, or there's a big one, or there's something available that you can participate in that's fun.
And one more thing. I think there's probably someone, not maybe just one more thing. I don't know how long we're going to go, but
Yeah.
there's someone out there who can promote our company and maybe run our company better than we can. And I think it's someone who can like step into the bass world and say, look, we can run
this is legit.
we can run a virtual Bassmasters Classic right alongside the one where they do the weigh-in, and we can have amateurs from competing for a spot right in this big bass tournament. There's like so many ways that this could go in the future where it could like explode. Like if the right person comes along, it could be really big for them, or for us, or just for them. I don't know.
It could be really big for the bass.
Yeah, it could really save a lot of bass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So I guess a little bit unrelated, because you mentioned all that water behind you. What are you out there fishing for?
Sauger,
Okay, yesterday-
walleye.
I have to say this. Yesterday, my brother-in-law's our cabin is like, we're looking at it. We went out and we went to 4 different. So we hiked and portaged. We went to 4 different lakes in Voyageurs National Park, and I caught 125 bass and 6 pike in about 6 hours, which is insane. Right, it's insane. Like if you went 3 casts and didn't catch a bass, it was like, whoa, maybe they quit biting. It's like, you felt bad.
Oh my
So,
god.
That's crazy.
That is actually really
Black
great.
isn't really huge here, but and this water right behind us, she's right. It was walleye, sauger. We're fishing. We mostly fish off of our dock.
It's a Lake Cabotogama.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at all the boat traffic today.
Yeah, what's gone by during this? I don't know.
I don't think
No, but I am looking over your left shoulder. Is it a statue? I thought it was somebody fishing for a while.
That's
It's
the bear.
it's a bear.
Yeah,
Cute.
Yeah.
Bear.
he says either welcome or go.
Or go.
home.
It says welcome, and then if you get tired of your company, turn around. It says go away.
He says welcome still. I think what happened is I scooted in with a.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I
you're
felt-
always welcome.
You're
yeah.
Always welcome here.
People were always flipping it, and I was like, "Nah, we just scoot."
That's so
He
funny.
holds a fishing. I don't think you can see it. He
Oh,
holds
the
a
fishing
fishing
rod.
pole.
No, the fishing
Oh.
rod broke. I hit it with the
Oh.
lawnmower.
That's very American.
You had one job.
I had one thing to do.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. We have Darren Trosseth. I hope I'm saying your last name.
Darren
I'm
Charles.
kind of
Hey,
so bad, but
Hey, you know
Darren,
what? I'm gonna
he's
tell you-
Oh
What-
wait, no. Let Darren.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, he's running a flathead contest starting tonight. Biggest flathead catfish wins a $150 Patriot Mad Cats catfishing rod that he's donating. It's a free contest, and the prize must go to a Minnesota veteran. So that's actually really super awesome.
That's awesome. If you guys don't know Darren, you should check him out. He guides down towards the cities in Minnesota, does like catfish and sturgeon. He's always advocating for anglers' rights down in Minnesota. So go check that tournament out. That should be a fun one. Unfortunately, I don't think we have very good flathead waters near us anymore.
It won't stop me from trying.
What's near though? Like how close would you have? How far-
Oh, so we used to live like 15 minutes from some decent
Oh.
flathead fishing.
Wow.
But now we live probably an hour. I guess I don't know what the upper Wisconsin River is like for flatheads. I know it's fairly shallow and pretty rocky for most of this upper portion. But I also know that there's some good stump fields and stuff, and they're just as likely to catch a catfish in that as you are in some of those deeper holes. So I don't know. Haven't got to check it out yet. There's just so many lakes by our house now.
So one more thing about Darren Trosseth, and this might be interesting. It's interesting to me anyway. So we grew up in the same town, in the same small town. Like my high school class had 48. I don't know what his had. We played on the same basketball team. He's younger than me. So we didn't play on the same starting squad or whatever. And then he, I was away for a while. I was in Texas and we lived in some other places. We came back to Minnesota and he was one of the first ones to start using the app, and he really gets it. But it's just so strange. We have the same first name. We have, all these connections.
Same hometown.
Same hometown.
And his
Even-
wife works with my sister.
Yeah, and
Oh.
even
It's a weird
so
thing,
my
yeah.
my grandfather died of an ear cancer. Like he got skin cancer on his ear. His dad or grandfather died of a skin cancer on his ear.
What? That's
I worked on Lake Vermilion in college. In the summers I'd work on Lake Vermilion. He worked on Lake Vermilion in the summers.
So Darren,
Wow.
We only know that you're different people because he's a better fisherman.
He's definitely a better fisherman. Yeah, no, he definitely. Yeah, well, yeah, he's the state record holder for sturgeon. I don't know what. I mean, yeah, he's a guide. I mean, how far? Yeah.
Whatever, you're a better web
I fish
developer.
on my
so
dock,
let's
and they
share.
don't even.
I'm going to change the subject. There is a Muskies USA tournament running every month this summer, and it's $50 to enter, and it's open to the entire U.S. So any muskie fisherman can join nationwide. So last month they only had 5 people, and not one of them posted a muskie. And I know that Wisconsin
Wow.
has a ton of muskie leagues. And those people could all, and we have
Nobody-
muskie leagues that run through the Fish Donkey app. So they could be using that feature in our app where you can post 1 fish to 2 tournaments. So they could be essentially winning like
Oh
two
man, yeah,
tournaments.
I never thought
two
about that.
tournaments. Yeah. So
They
anyway,
should definitely do it.
Emily, we're musky
That's
fishing
I
right
don't,
now.
I don't think people know that.
I know.
You could join 10 tournaments, catch one giant muskie, and win all 10. Like really, it would
I
be
know.
legit. I mean, it would be legit. You're
Yes.
fishing in 10 tournaments
Yeah.
at one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to tell people about the North American Master Angler? Or when does
Um,
that end?
You know what? It's surprising to me how popular the North American Master Angler is. It's got 34 species, and it was designed to, like, whatever region of the country you live in, there's going to be 16 or 17 that you can catch. But it's designed to be all across North America, like all the way from the Yukon all the way down to like Florida and Texas, and the species balance. We're about like a third of the way done with it. It's a very long tournament. It's running until October 31st. I think our leader right now might have 14 species. But I mean, 34, it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's making me want to fish more. And we first actually, it's interesting. I think it's really great for like student anglers also, because Wisconsin,
Yeah.
our app runs the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Championship, WIFA.
For the
Yep.
high school teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they also run a summer tournament for anybody in any high schooler in Wisconsin, and they have I don't know how many species in their Master Angler, and their students go nuts over that tournament.
They are super competitive. Yeah.
I mean, a Master Angler is not easy to get, and there's kids that get every single one of them in one summer.
But it's
like
really
so
it's kind
crazy.
of building a camaraderie between students from different
Yeah.
schools who otherwise wouldn't have,
Yeah.
had the opportunity. And that's the neat thing about Fish Donkey too, is it creates a little community within your own tournament where
That's
people are
true.
kind of rooting for each other. And some tournament directors create Facebook pages. Since we're not a social media platform, you cannot directly communicate with other people.
We
in
might
your
do
tournament.
that someday, though.
We hope to get there someday.
Maybe.
But you could go on Facebook and see if you can find that person and communicate with them that way. Or some tournament directors for really big events that run a long length of time,
Yeah.
they build Facebook groups and pages.
That's a good
for their
point.
tournament.
Because like when
So
Darren
it's neat.
Troseth runs this
Yep.
awesome sturgeon tournament, pretty much like 3 times a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. I don't think he does a summer one. Once in spring, once in the fall, once in the winter. I was just in the spring one, and we're on the Rainy River, we're fishing for sturgeon, and it's like, wow, half the boats around us are all in the tournament, right? And we're all watching each other to see who's going to catch the big one. It was fun.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
the multi-species tournaments are getting more popular now, and I think like we have to thank some of our Canadian friends like Clayton Schick for doing things like Game of Inches.
Yeah.
That
I
really
bet, there's no
whenever
other
they
way.
do something creative like that, it sparks a little bit more interest. How can we do this through an app? And then some people
also
will discover
our
Fish
app-
Donkey that way.
Our app is like really that's the only way to do a multi-species tournament like that. Like you just couldn't do it and keep it legit. I mean,
Unless you know all of your people.
you'd have
and
to have
you
a
trust
weigh-in
them.
state. Yeah. Yeah, a tournament
Text
built on
each other.
a tournament built on trust is not going to work. It has to be legit.
Yeah, Emily and I have a individual tournament every time, and I'll tell you, tournament built on trust doesn't work.
And we're not the boat watching each other's catches.
Watch you measure sometimes.
Yeah, but-
all right.
but
All
But
right.
if you net her fish, you could like knock it off, right? Like there's all these scenarios.
I'll net my own fish.
That's
I'm secretly the worst
that's-
netter ever.
that's a
so
sore spot for
that's
Emily
a bad,
this year.
yeah, that's
Wait, do you net crappies or do you just flip them in the boat?
okay. Honestly, I almost always boat flip them, and it's bad. There's
really-
no reason to do that. Get a net.
I really try. I've been trying to make a conscious effort this year to net more of my fish because it just is. I don't know. I've gone almost completely barbless.
Oh wow!
And I just
Circle hook.
I don't know. I'm throwing them back anyways. I like if I lose it, then most of the time I can see it. I got my relevant glasses on, and I get it to the boat close enough I can see what it is. So it's I don't know.
Well, yesterday we did. It was like 4 miles of hiking and 3 different portages, and we brought a landing net with us. And we only used it one time. And so like I caught 125 bass, and I don't know how many of my brothers caught, probably the same or right around the same. And we only used it one time. And it's like maybe next time we won't bring
Don't
it.
pack it.
Yeah.
That's-
We
yeah.
grabbed them from the, mouthed them from the water or whatever. If we lost them, hey, good, it got off.
Yeah.
You realize that the next time you don't bring it, you're going to catch a giant of something that you really
The special
Yeah,
species
yeah.
you're
The one,
musty.
the end destination lake that we hiked to has like no pike in it, but the pike that were recorded were 44 and 45 inches. So it's like, that was kind of why we brought it.
Yeah, you're going to want a net for that.
We'll just go to shore. You hook it good, and we'll canoe to shore, and we'll pull it up somewhere.
We'll pull it up.
Hey, you know what you should do? You should host like this big pike tournament because I know these guys and they're looking for a pike tournament.
Yeah, from Canada and from the UK, and also Ireland. I might want to mention we have Ireland pike tournament. Yeah, I think North America. I think we can compete with the UK. That'd be a fun team event.
That'd be a fun time, I think.
We have tournaments in Australia too, not for pike.
Oh wow.
They have fun names like Yellow Belly. It's a Yellow Belly tournament. And the Murray Cod tournament.
Yeah,
Some snapper.
the Murray
some-
cod are beautiful.
Yeah.
They
It's
look
fun.
like a cross.
What's that Barramundi? The Barramundi tournament.
I don't know. I
That
don't know what
big-
is.
That big fish.
I don't know what that is.
I will have to look that up.
Yeah.
The flying fish, the little red flying fish.
They have a tournament for that?
Oh no, that's Norway.
Oh.
That's Norway.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm so excited talking about the flying fish.
That is actually really cool.
That is cool.
And they're such beautiful colors.
Yeah.
Not as pretty as that bluegill with the
Oh, yeah. Right. Emily with the bluegill. That's even prettier.
Yep.
Not every day, just so.
Just-
Even Josh would look good with a bluegill.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, after I guess like talking about all of this, how could you not be excited about the app and about fishing? And it's almost the weekend coming up, so this is perfect timing.
Perfect time. Download it.
And I'm sure that there's plenty going on that people can check out this weekend. So if you are looking to join a tournament virtually, this might be the thing for you. For people who are looking to download it, is it just at your regular app store, or where can you find the app?
Fishdonkey.com/app. And
Perfect.
You can either get iPhone or Android.
Perfect.
iPhone or Android. Perfect. And then you guys are also available on social media. So if people want to follow the adventures that you're talking about, because sometimes you share out from different countries or different states or different tournaments, how do they follow you guys?
Well,
We're on Instagram, Facebook. We also have a Facebook group. Just Fish Donkey, all one word. Fish Donkey. You'll
Yeah.
find us easily. It'll pop up right
Yeah.
away.
Twitter, but we don't tweet.
Yeah, we don't do Instagram posts. though. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, also make sure to join those tournaments and hopefully we are seeing you there. So I guess thank you guys so much for being here to talk about this app and everything else.
Thank
you.
you. Yeah,
We love you guys.
you're some of our favorites.
And thank you to the people at home because we love you guys as well. You guys are
Mhm.
always a huge part of the fun. Love the questions and the comments and the things along the way. And as always, give this post or this episode a like or a share. And with that, we'll see you next time on next week's episode of The Night Bite.
Night, everybody.